please join me in welcoming Minister Afolami to the stage.
How do they pick that music for me? Very good music, very good music. Look, thank you. Thank you so much, Janine, and for that wonderful introduction, and to Sasha as well for the work that you've done on putting this all together. And it is a pleasure to join you on the first day of the Innovate Finance Global Summit. It's a pleasure to see so many familiar faces looking around the room and in this wonderful, beautiful hall right at the heart of the city of London, which has been here for, Guildhall's been here since the medieval times. And therefore it's very apt that we are talking about the link between the old and the new. Finance has been here for hundreds of years, but fintech and innovative finance is new, building on those existing old principles, and will go forward and help build a City of London fit for the future. Now, as the Prime Minister's already said, the UK, and indeed Janine has already said, the UK remains a top destination for fintech investment, attracting nearly $5 billion last year. That is second only to the United States. Our markets play a key role in the UK, driving growth, creating jobs, and facilitating investment that benefits both you, the people you work for, and the people you work with, and the broader economy. That's why at the budget, the Chancellor took further steps to increase liquidity for high-growth companies and improve the competitiveness for UK markets. And as Janine just said, I've just come from the first meeting of the newly formed Unicorn Council for UK FinTech to hear from some of our largest, most innovative fintechs about how we can go further and unlock even further investment growth. Now, domestically, 86% of digitally active UK adults now use a fintech product or service. 86%. Those numbers are a testament to the strength of our fintech sector and a testament to the importance to the government's vision for the future of financial services in this country, a vision of which all of you in this room will play a vital role. Now, I want to begin by talking with you today about open banking and open finance. These are not only incredibly exciting new technologies with vast potential, they are a case study of how I see the government's role in supporting fintech innovation. Open banking has been a resounding success. It has made the UK a global leader with over 9 million consumers using this technology today. It has clearly demonstrated that fintechs can use technology to deliver tangible benefits to consumers and businesses alike through drawing on customer data. That is why the government is working to secure the foundational framework for open banking, including developing the new regulatory framework to oversee data sharing in financial services. That framework will be underpinned by 3 principles. First and foremost, it will be fair. Now, fairness isn't just a buzzword. It's foundational to how our society and culture operates. From the biggest banks to the smallest startups, all will operate under a shared rulebook. That is fair. Secondly, it will be a partnership. Because encouraging financial services providers and fintechs to adopt an equitable and commercial, but it needs to be commercially sustainable model, will ensure that customers' needs can be met and all participants can thrive. There is no point having a regulatory-driven model which people don't feel is commercially sustainable. That will not work, and that will not be good for the industry in the long term. So that partnership has to be a commercial partnership with regulatory oversight. Thirdly, it will be safe. Now, what's often difficult to say in a room like this is that when politicians and regulators talk about protection for consumers, it's not always just sort of risk aversion, right? And many of you that know me will know that I've been very vocal in criticizing the regulatory culture of what I call the safest graveyard, right? So I've been very critical about that. But consumer protection, when it comes to data, is really important. Why? Because fraud, online fraud, is a massive problem. We all know it. We all hear it from our friends and family members. And so everything we do needs to make sure that people feel safer online dealing with their money, not less safe. And as long as we can keep that in mind, then we can proceed in the right way. And the regulatory framework needs to make sure that we do that in a way that is commercially sustainable in the way that I have already explained. Because it's with that trust that we can build on open banking's initial successes and ensure that with government regulators and the private sector working together, we in the UK continue to be at the forefront of developments in this space. But while we're laying vital foundations, I don't want us to stand still when it comes to the next big ideas. That mindset of not wanting to stand still is why we're carefully considering the Centre for Finance, Innovation and Technology, or CFIT, to use the acronym, the CFIT Open Finance recommendations that were published in February, and I'm looking at them very carefully at the moment. Now, what sets CFIT apart from other organizations, because it's not just another think tank, is that its proposals are not they're just not there for intellectual delectation or discussion. They're there for real-world application. And so I'd urge you to take a look at them if you haven't already. I was proud to attend their Open Finance Showcase Day in February, and I was completely inspired by the energy in that room, like I've been inspired with the energy of Janine and the energy in this room. And today, I'm thrilled to announce the official formation of the Open Finance Task Force, whose inaugural meeting is scheduled to take place right here at this summit. And a few weeks ago at the Treasury, I met and spoke with the people who are going to take part in this task force, understood their concerns, understood where they thought we needed to go. And what I will tell you is that the alignment on the overall objectives from everybody in that task force completely aligns with what I want to do, what the Chancellor and Prime Minister want to do, and as a result is very, very exciting. We're really looking forward to working with them. And the task force will craft a clear set of recommendations pinpointing the data sets and commercial incentives necessary to drive forward CFIT's SME lending use case for open finance. This will mean that when our new smart data powers come into force, we will already have in place the technical building blocks enabling us to unlock open finance quickly, effectively, and securely. This will be supported by the development of a long-term regulatory framework to transition open banking to a sustainable footing and prepare the ground for future financial services data sharing scheme. Now, alongside this long-term regulatory framework, we also need to ensure that we have a payments landscape where open banking can thrive. We will deliver this through the new payments vision, national payments vision, which we will publish this summer. And I intend, when politicians give you those vague timeframes, right, what I mean by this summer is by summer recess, okay? So I want to get this out by mid-late July. This vision will set out our ambition for UK payments and take action to drive forward recommendations from Joe Garner's Future of Payments review, including unlocking the full benefits of open banking. But as I noted in my speech to the ABI annual conference earlier this year, government can only do so much, right? I'm not from a school of thought that thinks that great innovation comes from people like me. Yeah, it comes from you. But what government can do, and what it's incumbent on government to do, is to help clear a path and to set the right framework and then allow you to do what you do best, which is innovate and grow. And speaking of true change, I know that a cornerstone of our position as a world leader in fintech is the delivery of our regulatory regime for crypto assets and stablecoins. The UK digital assets sector is at an exciting juncture, and is well positioned to take advantage of increased regulatory clarity as well as some of the UK's strength. Now, when I was recently in the United States, I was in Washington, and the head of the CFTC, one of their key regulators in this space, a guy called Rostin Benham, who's a fantastic guy and comes to the UK sort of 2-3 times a year, and I'd urge you to make sure, those of you that are interested, to try and speak to him or deal with him. And I was asking, we had a very long conversation about crypto assets and digital assets and what it means and what the opportunities are and what the difficulties are, etc. And one thing he said really stuck with me. And he said, look, Bim, I can't pretend to know all the different aspects of crypto assets and exactly how they're going to develop. But what I do think is that they have the potential, particularly blockchain technology, has the potential to drive transformational change in financial markets over the next 10 years. And that is something that has really stuck with me from somebody who's expert in the regulatory aspects in this field. And that is something that I completely agree with and I'm committed to. So what does that look like from the British government perspective? We are committed to creating a regulatory environment that allows firms to innovate whilst also protecting the right consumers. Looking to the future, we are now working at pace to deliver the legislation to put our final proposals for our regime in place. These will deal with stablecoin and staking, and we hope to do this again by summer recess, sort of June, July time. Now, once it goes live, a whole host of crypto asset activities, including operating an exchange, taking custody of customers' assets, and other things, will come within the regulatory perimeter for the first time. Now, we've also set up the Digital Security Sandbox, and this regime will help firms adopt digital assets across traditional markets and asset classes, and in particular by enabling those participating firms to have legislative requirements modified or even disapplied when those requirements inhibit innovation. We can then use our experience in the sandbox to make permanent amendments for UK legislation. That's what it's for. It's an approach that we've had broadly using sandboxes over the last 10 years, and it's been successful. Now, the last thing I wanted to say is this. Look, I know you've got a very busy day ahead. I want to make good on my promise to let government get out of the way by not speaking at you for another 30 minutes or so. But I just want to say this. We are on the verge of an exciting new era, okay? We've got a choice as a country. Do we want to be okay with a good, thriving startup culture, and then once businesses get to a certain level, allow them to go off to the US or the EU or Asia or wherever? Do we want to be okay with that? Or do we want to go to the next level? That is the choice before us. I want you to know that we, in this government, we will embrace the benefits of open banking and finance. We will leverage the collaborative power of CFIT. We will deliver a unifying national payments vision. We will legislate to enable development of digital assets. We will innovate in the interest of customer safety and fairness. And we will do all of this in partnership with you, with industry, with the regulators, and within government, not just in Treasury, but within other government departments, working together to ensure the continued growth and success of UK fintech. Let's move from being happy with creating £100 million companies or £500 million companies to having the ambition to create many more £1 billion companies, £5 billion companies. I will support you, the Chancellor will support you, as you've already heard, the Prime Minister will support you. Thank you so much for all the work that you've done. Have a great day today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Minister. And I think everyone in this room